Hey everyone, thank you very much for coming and spending the last session of the day with us in the hardest room to find in all of the convention center, making sure that you trekked all the way from the south wing to the west wing.
Yep. Hey, so Karem, so as you know, I'm a big fan of the SharePoints.
Oh, who isn't?
Who isn't, right?
SharePoint?
So there's a number of events we have going on next year.
All right.
And I was just wondering, are you by any chance going to be free to come to an we're doing an event in London next month.
Oh, I would love to go to London. I love London.
I would love to have you there.
All right.
Well, let's take a look and see what we have going on in London next year so we can figure it out.
All right.
So I'm going to come over here to this machine.
Is that...
And here we are. So I can see we have an event already scheduled in London. And I can do a little bit more searching. So let's say I want to filter and see what else do we have coming up in London. Let's filter by, and let's take a look for events happening in London, England. Wow, there's a lot coming up. There's definitely a couple of things going on next month.
Yeah, looks like it.
Live entertainment. How do you feel about that?
I love it.
Let's take a look and see what's going on.
Well, what's that? What's going on here?
Well, we've got a whole bunch of stuff here on the forum, so I can edit this and see what we're going on right now. We've got an event going on. Let's see what services this venue has at the meeting space. They've got security and beverages. Well, let's give up on security.
Sure.
Sure.
Need that.
Sure. Let's just keep beverages and food.
Sorry, is that a multi-value column that you're editing right there?
That is a multi-value column I am editing there.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Great to hear.
And I can pick some different locations.
Oh, how come there's only two things showing up?
Because we're in London.
Oh, it's filtering down
We
to
have
only the
filtered
options?
cascading
It's a cascading drop-down.
Yes.
It's amazing. All right.
And so we can set this and say, I'm also a big fan of nightlife.
All right.
And we can also, there's some other stuff that's here in the forum. We have a chart over here on the right, seeing who has signed up for different events. And like I said, big fan of going to events. I'm obviously listed for a lot of events here in Power BI, but it looks like we definitely could use, some more people to sign up for this. But in the meantime, let me hunt around for some other things where I'm not signed up. Here's another meet and greet coming up in London. I'm going to sign up for this one as well next year.
All right.
And immediately adapts and it schedules and it's all there. That's some of the stuff that you can do with custom forms built in PowerApps now that we're on top of SharePoint. So getting back to the deck, my name is Chris McNulty. I'm a senior product manager for SharePoint in Office 365.
And my name is Karem Yüceturk. I'm a program manager with the SharePoint Team Sites team. I think you'll need to...
Yep, well, you got the clicker.
Oh, hit 5.
Here we go. Oh, I thought they were switching us.
All right.
I got to go to the big keynote this morning. I got spoiled.
Yes,
Yes.
Sorry. I should have done that for you. I apologize. All right.
So we really appreciate your taking time to join us this afternoon. We're going to go through a lot of demos and then wrap up by giving you some guidance as to how all of this comes together. We're going to begin by taking a look at a whole bunch of new capabilities that we have brought in from PowerApps with Microsoft Forms and with Microsoft Flow, all coming into Office 365, SharePoint, and OneDrive. Stuff that you can start using almost immediately when you go back to your organizations to figure out the best ways to make yourselves and your teams more productive.
Next up, we're going to be joined by Robert Berg in our Spotlight section. He's from NASCAR, and he's going to talk a little bit about their experience, about how they started to use PowerApps to bring their business processes forward and use them on the go while they're around the country, doing the NASCAR races.
And so we know that you're here at Ignite. How many of you are repeat offenders here at Ignite? Let's see who's coming back. Good. We love to have you back here. We want to make sure we keep the focus on the technology, but we will wrap up by showing you how all this tech comes together across the rest of Office 365 and give you some guidance as to what's coming up, some more resources, as well as what our roadmap looks like in the months ahead. So that said, let's get right into it by taking a look at what's new. So one of the things that we talked about in the keynote this morning is the column formatter. Now, people in with an on-premises heritage, you're going to recognize there have been lots of ways that people have done things to be able to tweak the behavior of fields and columns in SharePoint. And when they do them for all sorts of reasons. There may be because of the value in a field, I want to use custom conditional formatting. I may want to introduce interactivity into a link. I may want to be able to bring more information together on a flow and be able to do some more visualization on the data properties that are there. Now, being able to do all of that also comes together with something we rolled out earlier this year called the filters pane. The filters pane takes a look at all of that data there and helps me sift and analyze what's out there based on the metadata that's there. In classic mode, we had something called metadata navigation and filtering. And one of the major holdbacks for people in moving into modern is being able to bring those capabilities to look at a hierarchy, to set up a filter, to be able to adjust the view of a list or a library. We have a unified way of doing that. So whether you've already built that in the filters pane, and we'll show that to you, we're also bringing intelligence to figure out, even if you haven't said, these are the fields and columns I want to pin to the filters pane, we'll show you the ones that we think make the most sense by default. And then if you can teach the system further, saying, for example, I want to make sure I'm always filtering by market, we can pin that choice directly out there.
And filters pane is available today, right?
Filters pane is available today.
All right.
So, how long have you been working with SharePoint, Karam?
A while, you know.
Yeah. And it seems longer some days, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
So now, what is the maximum capacity of a list or a library?
Well, I know the answer to that, but do people know the answer to that?
Do we know how many? Well, it's on the screen, 30 million. Now, would you believe that sometimes people think there's a smaller number that's the maximum limit?
Is it 5,000?
It is.
All
ding,
right.
ding, ding. Because we have had in the service for an awful long time something known as the list view threshold. Anytime you're running a query that might result in pulling more than 5,000 items at once, we throttle that. Or we used to throttle that. It's really expensive. It can slow the system down for other people in your tenant. And it's something we want to make, it's a bad practice. And it's one thing we want to make sure that we can work with to give you ever larger sets of data, because we're in a big data explosion. Structured and semi-structured data, like you see in SharePoint, are definitely big parts of that big data explosion. So we want to make sure you have all of the capabilities that you need with something we call predictive indexing. Now, predictive indexing is in the process of being released right now. We have already introduce some capabilities to allow, by the way, I love it when we put a slide up and everyone stops to take pictures.
Yes.
It's always like, yes, we were right. We were right.
People want
You were right. That was your slide.
Oh,
okay.
Thank
you. We can put indexes on items up to 20,000, and then as the list grows, you're going to continue to see more out there. We can automatically determine, the magic about this is, we can figure out that it's time to create an index based on user behavior with sorts and with views. So even if you haven't gone through the administrative action of setting those things up, we'll automatically do it for you. When you look at a list or a library in the modern UI, you will get partial results. So even if you have a giant view that's going to return 19,000 items or more, we will bring the data to you in pages, so as you scroll down, we'll just continuously read ahead so we never run into those throttles. Right now, we'll auto-index up to 20,000. Those indexes will run forward. We're looking ahead towards raising the bar even higher over time. So let's take a look at how all of that stuff works together. I'll come back to my machine right here. So, again, yes, I know.
Sir, your screen.
So a couple of lists I want to take a look at, some similar to what we covered in the keynote this morning. We showed you the end results, but I want to show you actually how we work with the column formatter. So right now we have a custom list where I've already put some conditional formatting by color. We've introduced some interactivity. And we have this effort by days column. It's kind of boring and plain. I want to introduce some visual cues as to how long each of those tasks is going to take. So to do that in Modern, I open up column settings. And we have the very emphatic format this column option. And it says, learn more about the column formatter. And I can paste or type a JSON script here. Now, typing JSON off the top of your head is probably a skill for very few people.
I like
anywhere.
copying and pasting.
Copying and pasting is really good for me. You know, good artists borrow, great artists steal. So here I have a JSON script I've already borrowed from my friend Lincoln to set up a call. Actually, let me get the blue bar one. So I come here, I just paste that code in. I click preview, and I instantly get conditional formatting up and down. How's that? Similarly, one of the ones that I did this morning, we looked at this list this morning. This is the new hires list. We have a start date that's out there. We come here, column settings, format this column. I jump back to my Visual Code Editor, where I have some highlighting code that's applying some standard formats here. Paste it in. And we can immediately see that I'm highlighting people who are scheduled to start in the next 30 days or less. Again, being able to bring those kind of visual cues and interactivity, and we're going to take a look at more of that as we get a little further into today's session. The other thing that's related, this is the interactivity for a single row, is some of the capabilities that we have for dealing with ever larger sets of data. So in our cold open earlier, we were looking at this list. Let me hide out all these filters. So this list is a really, really large list. And I want to start by showing you the details behind the scenes of what's in it.
Ooh, list settings page.
There are 19,001 items. And so if you guessed that we built a list with 19,000 items and added one to make sure it's all working, you'd be correct. So, and you see the list view threshold is 5,000, but we haven't been throttled in the work that we were doing before. That's because we have all of the engineering work we've been doing all along. You get a reminder that learn more about managing this and take a look at the best things to do. And if I come down here and look at indexed columns, you'll see I only have one index on this. Okay? So let's jump back and look at the events list.
And maybe it's worth talking about that one index. It may get created for you automatically because that column is used in your view. So SharePoint will look at that through a timer job in the background and then go and create those indexes for you for lists that are up to 20,000 items in size, and hopefully bigger lists in the future.
So let's filter this by start date, older to newer. Now historically, that's something that is going to require pulling back more than 5,000 items and would have resulted in being told, sorry, we're going to show you the sad ice cream cone because you can't get that many records. Instead, what we do is on the fly, we build an index without you even realizing it, return the results to you in less than a second. I'll do the same thing here on venue. Let's sort this Z to A. And again, I now have a sort that I can start working with. And let's just take a look inside of the list. And like magic, those columns have all been automatically indexed for me without any administrative intervention. So we can, isn't that great? So I want to wrap up by taking a look at a couple of takeaways for large lists on the presentation. Oh, let's come back to...
Now I forgot to switch it.
Oh, I forgot to switch it. OK. So you can have up to 30 million items in a list or a library. And actually, if you look at the maximum capacity of a tenant, you can have up to 30 trillion documents in a single SharePoint tenant. Most of those optimizations, the things that we're working on with the filters pane, with the ways that the queries are being built for me on the fly, we're taking advantage of modern. As you scroll through a large list, it will read intelligently ahead and be smart about the querying if you're in the modern experience. A caveat, if you know that your list is going to get big at the get-go, if you were doing a migration, it's user interactivity with sorts and with views that trigger the creation of those auto indexes. If you know that you're doing something like an import and your list is going to get to be bigger than 20,000, that's not a problem. Just make sure you set those indexes up in advance so you don't get into a range where you can't turn them on later on for you. Another tip is indexes give you the best performance when you're working with highly distributed data. Date fields are especially strong candidates for this. They're really good candidates for indexing. If every value in a column has exactly the same text in it, an index isn't going to return the greatest performance benefits to you, although the column still can be indexed.
All right, so let's take a step back and then kind of dig into what we were showing you earlier when we showed you that custom form that was built with PowerApps. So what we've done here is we've tried to create this built-in browser-based customization experience. So whenever you're going and customizing your forms with PowerApps, you don't need to download an additional tool like Microsoft InfoPath. This will just work for you in your browser and in any browser that PowerApps supports. And then we've taken the next step and gone and integrated that into the modern SharePoint UX. And then we tried to go with a model that's easy to customize. So we will show you the details of that in a second. But still, it gives you the full power of PowerApps and capabilities. So you'll be able to do all those things that you do with PowerApps, like adding extra additional data sources, doing conditional formatting, doing cascading dropdowns, and more. So let's now see all that in action.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir.
Oh,
I'll stay right here.
You're fine. All right. So we looked at the events list just now, but I wanted to take you to another list that doesn't have a custom list yet. So the first thing to point out here is that we are updating the SharePoint modern list experience. So whenever you click on an item, the panel pops open inside. The form opens up in a panel on the same page. So this really gives you a very quick way, without a page refresh, to work through your items. And it is also consistent with the experience that we're going to be bringing when we bring the PowerApps-powered custom form in here. So you will notice that there's an entry point here that says Customize with the nice PowerApps logo. And we've also added, in addition to the Create an App experience that has been there for the last year, we have the Customize Forms experience. And when you click on it, similar to the other experience, we take you to PowerApps. And we transfer all of your context in there so that any connections that you may need to get created for PowerApps are created. And the context of your list is passed along. And you get a single-page app. So you may know that when you create an app in PowerApps, you get a three-screen app normally. There's a browse control for the gallery. There's a new edit screen. And then there's a read-only view screen. What we've done is we've really condensed everything down to a single form screen. And this form is multi-purpose. We don't need the browse screen because the browsing experience is still in the list. And we're just using a custom forms experience. And that form, the two screens that were separate before, are now combined into one. And this is actually a smarter form than before. So when I click on it, you will see that it actually holds all three modes in one. So this is the same form that you can use for editing, for new items, for viewing items, and you don't have to create additional screens. This will make changing things like showing and hiding a field very easy, because then you don't have to do it for multiple forms. You can, of course, add more screens and then make that work with your forms as well. So that power is still there, but we wanted to make it very simple for you to start from out of box and start with a single form experience that will just work across different areas. The other thing that I wanted to call out is that the theme is the SharePoint theme. So this is a new theme that the PowerApps team has added to their design canvas so that things look and feel just like they should when you're viewing it inside the SharePoint context, inside the modern UX context. The button styles, the text box styles, they're very close to what SharePoint uses. And we think that's a big part of making sure that the experience appears seamless for our users. Another interesting, another extra touch is the columns are in the same order, right? We take care to make sure that all of the columns are appearing in the same order as SharePoint. So when you land on this, what you see is exactly what you were looking at on SharePoint side, but now you can start to customize it and make it your own. All right. I think one thing we should call out here is the new rules UX. You may have seen this. This rolled out, I believe, the week before Ignite. So you may not have a chance to notice this in your PowerApps Studio yet. But the new rules UX is something that customers who are used to or familiar with InfoPath are familiar with as well. So it brings that kind of capabilities for updating items and adding rules in a condition-based rule setting to add different rules. Very easy for your custom forms. In the interest of time, I'm just going to go ahead and maybe change the order of things here. And then let's put this up there. The one last thing that I wanted to call out on this canvas is this special SharePoint integration object that we've added for you for this specific SharePoint custom form scenario. And that gives you more advanced capabilities when you go to this advanced view to change the behavior when the save button is clicked on the SharePoint side, or when the cancel is clicked on the SharePoint side. Or you can change the behavior for new item versus editing an existing item and displaying a particular item. So all of this power is there for you to use, but you don't really need to know about it out of box. You can still just use the data panel to show hide columns, add some conditional formatting using rules, and then once you're done with all that, what you can do is you can save this. And note that once this is saved, it's still unpublished. We have a little text up there. My screen resolution may be a little too high here, but let me go here and show you. So all of my changes are saved, but they have not taken effect yet. So to take effect, I need to publish these changes to SharePoint, which will basically tell SharePoint that, hey, I have this custom form. I want it to take over as the form for my list. So let's go ahead and do that. That should be a very quick action. And then now when I go to my list, you remember that I was clicking on the item and the SharePoint custom form was coming, SharePoint standard form was coming up. So now when I click on the item, the new PowerApps form is going to be shown integrated into my experience. And the changes that we made with the state up top and the title lower than that will be there for you.
So that's pretty great. So let me ask you a question.
Sure.
There was a product people used to use to do custom forms in SharePoint.
What was that product?
Can't remember what that was.
I think what you're referring to is Microsoft InfoPath.
Yes, that's what it was called.
All right. So let me show you the form settings page in your list. So this has been recently updated to make sure that we play nice with our InfoPath customers and the pre-existing InfoPath forms that may be on your lists, as well as the new custom PowerApps forms. So this page has been revamped to show to you, I think that will be making it clear, that now there's 3 options for your form settings. You can use the default SharePoint form. Whenever you publish from PowerApps, it will take over and become the custom form option. But you can easily go back to your default SharePoint form. And had you had an InfoPath form that was attached to this list, when you published from PowerApps, it would have taken over from InfoPath. But again, you would have been able to use this form settings page to go back to it and switch between those different forms options. So we're keeping the backwards compatibility in place, but we really, really are excited to bring this today because this is, we know, a request that all of our customers have been asking for a long time. And we've been working very closely with the PowerApps team to bring this new capability for custom forms to SharePoint. Yep. All right. So with that, let's go back to the deck. I want to mention, thank you. So I want to mention that forms is not the only scenario that we're focused on. We would like to announce that the PowerApps web part will be available for our SharePoint Online customers by the end of this year. So this will allow you to not only embed any PowerApps that you may have created, that use SharePoint as a data source, but any other Power App as well. So you can take all of those things and put them in the SharePoint pages, in your team sites, in your communication sites, and then they will just work inside the SharePoint context wherever they need to go. All right.
Okay.
I think we got a yay over here.
Yep.
All right. All right. Moving on. Moving on to Flow. So we have some very exciting news on this front as well. So as you know, Flow, as the successor to SharePoint Designer workflows in your business process scenarios, we've been working very closely with the Flow team as well. And we're very happy to announce today that within a month, we'll be releasing the Flow launch panel to our first release users. So this allows you to create flows that prompt for information embedded inside the SharePoint UX. You don't need to go to another screen or anything like that. It is just a beautiful built-in experience. And the additional magical part of this is that it lets you run as the current user. So whenever you're selecting a flow and starting that flow, that current user's context will be passed to the flow so that they can take actions, the flow can take actions on their behalf. All right, let's see that in action. Could I have 8, please? All right. And back to a regular zoom. OK, so I have a list here that has some flows associated with it. When I pull this down, I've set up a very simple remind me flow here. And then when I click on that, it will basically load this panel inside my SharePoint experience. I don't need to go anywhere else for this. It's just built in inside a panel here. And it is kind of tongue-in-cheek because it says how many seconds do you want to be reminded it for demo purposes. You can imagine this could be days, etc. But let's say I want to get reminded in 5 seconds. And say hello from Ignite. So I run that. It starts the flow. It's very similar to the experience that we had before, where we were using button-based triggers for our document libraries, and then you were able to trigger flows. The new part is that panel that you saw and the ability to add information that can then go in and change the course of the flow. Mm-hmm. And this flow is very simple. You can see it succeeded several seconds ago. So this was magical in that it went and waited for entire 5 seconds before sending me a reminder email. So it's very simple.
So I know what you're showing. Yeah. But what is that you're showing right here for people who haven't seen these edit screens before?
Oh, this is basically showing me what my flow went and did. So what it did was it went and grabbed a SharePoint item, the item that I had selected back in my list. And then it went and got all the properties for it through this get item call. And then because I said, hey, you have to wait for 5 seconds, and that was a parameter that I passed on to this delay action. So as the third action, it basically sat there for 5 seconds and counted down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then once that was done, it went ahead and sent me an email.
And so you know that they all ran because you get the green checkbox.
That's right.
OK.
That's right. And sure enough, if I come here, here's my reminder for booking a fancy dinner for the team. It says hello from Ignite, which was the message that I typed into that column. So we're very excited about this new feature.
And it looks like it's for me because you're logged in as me.
They didn't give me a demo user. I'm still upset about that. Like I wanted my own user. They're like, come on, just use Chris's user.
For whatever reason, inside baseball reference, a lot of folks at Ignite in the SharePoint tenancies use my pretend user credentials, whatever. If you've ever seen the movie Being John Malkovich, when John Malkovich jumps into the universe and everyone is John Malkovich, that's what our tenants look like, because everyone is always talking to themselves.
You're famous.
It's a very, very scary world, even for me.
All right. All right. Let's quickly switch back to our deck. And that was our demo for the Flow launch panel. Yes, thank you. And we are also very proud to announce that we will also ship an out-of-box send for review flow. So this will become available for all lists and libraries without having to set up that flow. So one of the things that we noticed with our customers, the power of flow is amazing. And yet, many people find it hard to get started with it and then start setting up something. So we really wanted to do the work for them and set it up automatically for them for their libraries so that they don't have to worry about that. And it's just there available as a flow that you can just run as part of your business processes. And it uses the Flow launch panel that you just saw a second ago. And it will basically ask us for an approver and a message. And then it will send an approval request to that person. and then track that status in your library as a column. So let's see what that looks like quickly. Back to 8. All right. So again, I'm Chris, and here I am in my Contoso legal department's documents. You can see that I have this review status column here with a number of different items that are already been sent for approval and they've been approved. There's one that's waiting for approval. This is just another column for me, so I can just group by it to see different status for different items in my library. And finally, I can click on this, pull down the flow menu, the send for review appears, and I can open the review panel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my little cheat sheet here because nobody wants to type long things during a demo, and add the message here. And when I say run flow, Jason, the person that I sent that request to, if we could switch to 6, please, will sure enough get a notification, at least actually 2 notifications, one for Outlook for getting a mail, and one from the Flow app because there's now an approval assigned to that person. So let me open that. Let me open that. Not that. All right. So this is the new item that I had just sent for approval. And I'm able to use the Microsoft Flow app, or I could have used Outlook actionable messages from the clients, Outlook clients that support this, to go ahead and approve this item. And I can add a nice little comment here as well. I'll keep it brief. Say it's cool. And when I send that over, this request now has been approved. And if I come back to my document library and just simply refresh my page, you will see that the item that I just sent that approval for has been moved from the unassigned column all the way to the approved column, thanks to this simple workflow that just was there out of box for me and to be used in simple business processes.
Excellent.
All right. Thank you.
So another technology that we introduced over the past year, originally for the education market, and then for the commercial market, is Microsoft Forms. And it's, I think, important for us to pause for a second about all the things that we think Microsoft Forms is great at. Microsoft Forms is not the end-all, be-all, customizable business application interface tool. That's PowerApps. But we think Forms really covers some great scenarios where people who are unsophisticated about, who may not be power users, but want to be able to collect survey and quiz data quickly from users inside and outside their organization. We think Microsoft Forms is a great tool for that. And with our new capabilities we announced this morning for integrating Microsoft Forms into SharePoint and taking advantage of its integration with Microsoft Flow, we can start to do some really common, powerful things without too much skill required, which is why I'm going to show it. So here we are. So here I am on a SharePoint page, and I've already customized this to add the Power BI web part. I'm going to go into edit mode here. If I open up the gallery of web parts and scroll down, one of the ones I'm going to get to is for Microsoft Forms. And we get a reminder here saying, you can easily create surveys, forms, quizzes, and polls, blah, blah, blah. Do I want to create a new form or add something existing? Well, I've already built an existing form here. So when I say I want to create an existing form, it asks me what it is. And I've already built it over here. Let's go into this right now. If I open up Microsoft Forms, this is the preview of it. I can come grab a Microsoft form I've used to capture attendees. I can get a name, an email, and a t-shirt size. If I wanted to add a new question, it's very quickly I can put in new choices, new text, new ratings, or a date value. We're not going to bother with that. This is the form that I want. I jump over to share. I can grab this and copy it. I also could choose to generate a QR code, an embed code, or open up an email and email this to someone. because this is a form right now that says only people in my organization can respond. If I choose to run it anonymously, I can then take this and send it to anyone, embed it on any web page anywhere, and people can fill it out anonymously to help capture data. So it's a very useful tool in some of those circumstances. So I'm going to grab this link here, and I'm going to stick this here in the form web page. And I can say I either want to collect responses or show results. Now, in this case, I may have people inside my organization that I want to be able to fill this out. In this case, I'm going to put it on a SharePoint page. And then people outside my organization, I can open it up to them on an extranet scenario, or I could email them links and ask people to fill that out. So we save and close that. I have the form here. People in my organization can come here and fill it out. If people outside the organization come here and fill it out, they can come here and say name. Now let's go into preview mode. Chris M at demos.
You want G?
Okay.
So many demo tenants.
So many demos, so little time.
Yes.
Shirt size. Submit this.
All right.
Now, I've already built a flow that actually picks up these results behind the scenes. And with a couple of tweaks, we can make it even more, from template, even more useful in most organizations. So if I go into the flow designer, you can see there's flows I've already built. I can build a blank one or create from template. So let's create something from template. Say I want to search by what we already know about, forms. We say one of the templates that's out there is record form responses in SharePoint. Now, I'm on the SharePoint team. SharePoint matters to me a lot. So in addition to the way forms captures the data, I want to put that into SharePoint. And so it understands who I am, what my security contexts are. I say continue. It's going to go build this for me right now. So when a new response is submitted, it's going to create an item. And it's going to ask me, where should it create it inside SharePoint? And it understands places where I've been, my strategy and planning site. What lists do I have there? I've already built a list for event registration. And once that's up, the nature of flow is built on triggers and actions. And any prior step gives me a no-code data block that I can just consume into the successive steps here. So here, the title in this list that I want to grab. Let's say I want to go get some dynamic content. Oh, let's say when the new response is submitted, I never said what form it was. So I've already built the attendee registration form. And now I can say when a new response is out there, the title will be the person's name. The email will be the person's email. And whatever they fill out for the t-shirt size, we put there. That's simple. We're going to put it in the SharePoint list. But just two additional steps we think are helpful, especially if you're someone like me. First and foremost, I can add some additional actions here. And I am slightly fussy, as you might have understood. And I want to understand, when someone fills out this form, I just want to know on my phone. So I can register and say, send me a mobile notification. By filling this out, I can, again, consume the prior activities and say, now, response from whoever filled it out. And then finally, because I want to kind of complete the loop, I can send an email to someone inside of Outlook. Say, I want to create a new email. Scroll down to all of the things that I can do inside Outlook. Send an email. And again, I'm going to pick up the email that the person, thanks for registering. We'll reply soon with the invite. Save the flow, And now that's good to go. Anytime someone fills out the form, inside or outside the organization, I can embed that form inside SharePoint. I can use Flow to orchestrate all the data management around it, and then make sure I send out mobile notifications to myself, as well as email notifications back to the person who's doing it. We think that's really simple and compelling, and we hope that you think so too. Coming back. So in just we're going to invite our good friend Robert to join us up here on stage and talk about how NASCAR has been able to apply PowerApps to transform their organization. But before we get going, we just want to show you a quick video.
NASCAR sanctions 1,500 events across 11 different racing series, where we're hitting 110 racetracks in 37 states in the US. Just envision the Super Bowl, but 38 weekends a year.
Every week the broadcast goes live at a certain time. We have to be ready. There's no delay. In the past, getting accurate, up-to-date information for crew members and vendors that aren't on our network was more of a challenge. If I wasn't sending hundreds of emails, I would be making phone calls. We would share static copies of documents that would go back and forth, and then having one actual correct version was next to impossible.
Communication has to be spot on and efficient and quick and accurate. So as we started the transformation of Office 365, we really went ahead and redid our intranet site. We call it Inside Track, which is built on the new SharePoint.
PowerApps has given us the ability to build cross-platform rich mobile applications connected to SharePoint in a matter of days instead of weeks.
Now with SharePoint, it's totally changed the way we do business. We have the ability to push the information so that people can get it when they need it.
We've really been able to standardize on a platform and lower operational and support costs while delivering a quality product to everybody at the same time. Now that we're leveraging Office 365, we're able to really take our talent and focus on more sophisticated technical operations as we try to transform NASCAR for the next 5 or 10 years.
Using SharePoint allows our team to be a team.
Our partnership with Microsoft has been a huge win. Utilizing Office 365 and SharePoint Online have allowed us to really focus on making great racing that our fans are excited to watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, Robert Berg. Robert.
I'll plug this in.
Hey, how's it going?
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. So, really appreciate your coming up here. You know, one of the things that we're fascinated by is kind of what an amazing organization NASCAR seems to be. I mean, that like 3 dozen Super Bowls a year, I couldn't even throw one. Like, what's it like to work at NASCAR?
It's exciting. I mean, it's as far as, you know, from working in technology, I don't think I've never had a more exciting job. I think the scale of NASCAR is something that, you know, I think that's the biggest surprise when most people, you know, are learning about it or don't know. You know, we're 80 million fans in the U.S. We're 38, you know, races a year. We're moving that Super Bowl-sized TV and broadcast compound around, you know, week to week. You know, we lay 20+ miles of fiber every weekend. It's just an intense but really exciting place to work.
Yeah, when people think about NASCAR, they don't probably think about all the data management that's happening in the background, but it seems like that's part of your job to make that all work on the go.
And make it seem seamless.
Yeah, that's right.
So, is there such a thing as a typical week for you?
You know, I think the cliche answer in technology is no, every day is different. But I think, you know, especially for my group, you know, that's just, you know, every day, every week can be different. You know, our group operates, you know, throughout the organization. We work with everything from our, you know, internal HR departments and legal, you know, on that side, to our broadcast side, to the competition side. So, you know, depending on the projects we're working on, you know, it's every day can definitely be a different one.
So tell me a little more about your role at NASCAR.
Yeah, so I've been at NASCAR for about 6 years now. So I've been in my current team, which is our technology development team at NASCAR. We are a small group that kind of operates as the office of the CIO, you know, helping to kind of align our technology projects across NASCAR. Because at one point we had kind of very siloed technology departments. I think a lot of organizations do. We had our corporate technology, we had competition technology, we had broadcast technology. So this horizontal layer that a couple of us provide, you know, kind of, like I said, align these initiatives, and, you know, we can help kind of find technology solutions for problems, and, you know, and try to be as efficient as possible.
Yeah, so We were hoping to see some of the examples that you created using PowerApps.
Yeah.
I understand that, and if you could tell us a little bit about what made you choose those solutions and what works in your context. So we'll just
plug this in. So yeah, we had, I think like a lot of organizations, we have, not enough development time, for the projects that people want out there.
Yeah.
So one of the things we struggled with in the past was trying to build mobile applications in an enterprise, and how do you secure them? How do you deploy them? How do you handle? I'm not getting anything in there. Try on.
We're on 6.
We did test it before.
We did test it.
Oh,
there we go. All right.
Great.
Yeah, so
Don't touch it.
Yeah, I'm just going to look at it a little bit. So how do you deploy it? How do you support multiple platforms? We had some kind of groups building applications and they're side loading, and it wasn't an efficient process. So
let me ask you. You've been at NASCAR for a few years, and we were talking yesterday. Like when I was a kid, I used to collect Richard Petty models.
Mm-hmm.
So running races around the country is not new. Even a few years ago, how did you keep track of this vast logistical information need?
it was, a lot of it was emails and spreadsheets and being sent around, and it's only been about 2 years we kind of decided to greenfield our approach to our intranet. We were a SharePoint 2007 online. Mm-hmm. It was on its last leg, it's locked. Infra didn't want to touch it. Search was broken, so we decided we're going to start clean. So we went from SharePoint 2007 to SharePoint Online.
Okay.
And with the help of MCS, we built a new intranet that we call Inside Track. A lot of it was we wanted to make it easier for our departments to manage the content they owned. So a lot of it was list powered and such, especially information such as our schedules and track maps and credential information, all the stuff that people need every week. So the problem was, that's great, now we've got it, and they can bring it up in a mobile browser, but it was, it'd be great to, I just want this on, we have so much of our workforce that travels every week, and they want this quickly, to have this up-to-date information. So when the first PowerApps preview came out and started poking around, and I took this one list that powers our intranet, and I built our first version of this app in 2 days. And that was with,
And I'm sorry.
2 days.
2 days.
2 days,
Okay.
And that was,
Yeah, let's take a look.
Yeah, unlock it. So, this is all back-ended. Oh, is it going to come back? There we go. It's all back-ended by a single SharePoint list. They have it on their phone. They choose what series they happen to be looking at. For this week in our Dover race, you can scroll or you can search through. And if they want to go and find out for this weekend's race, they need access to the most up-to-date schedule. That's right there. Things like our track maps. Even other SharePoint sites that we have for our officials. They need meal times and who do they need to talk to that.
So help us understand. So you have a lot of tracks, and there's people at the track now.
Every weekend, yeah. Well, 38 weekends a year.
So do you have different staff at every track, or is there a diehard group of folks who are road warriors who go track to track to track?
The majority of the time, they are the same. We do have people that take that on and off just because it's going to be a long season otherwise.
So people who, if they come, back close to my hometown, they make it up to Loudon, New Hampshire twice a year.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But they may not be as familiar.
Or things have moved around since last time. Our broadcast compounds have moved around different locations, so they always have the most up-to-date information for any event. And again, this is all sourced off one SharePoint list that powers our internet, powers the app, Android, iOS, and it's all
one source of truth.
Yeah, one single source of the truth, which is something we definitely believe in.
So does Pit Row have a lot of space to set up a lot of laptops like this, or?
No, it's a little tight down there. Yeah, so
that definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
So this looks really cool. So what are some? And you've been working with PowerApps for about as long as anyone's been working with PowerApps.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you kind of learned along the way, and that maybe you wish you'd known before you started?
Yeah, I've seen there's been a great evolution of the product from the first version to what we have now. It's become faster and some more stabler. The web editor, the web the tool versus the desktop tool for building these is really come on par to each other. So you can do it almost all in a browser. Sometimes I've had to make little tweaks here and there, and I can do it just from a browser anywhere. I can get. And it's just, and I know there's certain features that we've run into where, SQL views is one for us. Right now we have some data that we'd like to ingest into some of these apps through SQL views, which I know is on the roadmap.
Yep, on the roadmap. So. I see nods over here, right here from the PowerApps site.
Excited by that one. Some of the rich, the rich editors, for capturing photos and being able to save those photos back to a SharePoint list attachment. That's another thing that we have a lot of ideas around and how we want to. So once we have people traveling, they see something, they want to capture it. For them to be able to use this app and then to save that back to a SharePoint list for the people that are back at the office will be huge. So. And
so, like, you've got a team of folks. How are you putting the app out in their hands right now?
Right now it's just, one thing that's great is that, we can tell them to download the PowerApps from the Android or iOS store, and any app that either we can make an app available just to the whole organization or to select groups. So they log in, they may see certain apps that one person sees in another, and it is made, if there's an update for the app, as soon as they launch it, it'll download the latest update. That whole layer of management, deployment, and security is all kind of taken care of, and we don't have to worry about submitting apps to app stores and waiting for 5 days for approvals or updates. So it's been a huge boost of efficiency for us.
So. That's great to hear.
Yep.
Any recommendations for some in the audience that may be thinking of getting started with PowerApps?
Yeah, it's if you manage any sort of data in a SharePoint list right now, I mean how easy it is from you click that create an app button on that SharePoint list that you guys added. I mean, even the first version of that app that it builds right out of the box.
Yep.
I mean, we had somebody 2 weeks ago in one of our racing communications teams said, every week we're out there and we do these, what they call AAR reports, these after action reports. So, we see something good or bad, we want to capture it, and the way they were doing it then was they would take an email, they'd send it to somebody at the end of the weekend, it gets compiled, it gets shared to the team members that were there or were not there that weekend. So I basically took one of these reports. I actually put it in an Excel so we can make sure the columns are right. Built a list off that Excel, and within 2 hours had a functional app in his hand that said, "Hey, here's your list. You can capture items," and they've been using it at the racetrack every week since. So
excellent.
So it can be very simple things that just
2 hours of no code.
2 hours of no code. So yeah, it's been great.
So it's really great to hear about all the ways you've been able to roll this out and extend it, and we really look forward to hearing more. And Krem and I were saying we hope to join you to track one of these weeks.
Yeah, please come. And I can't wait for my SQL views. So
we'll keep that in mind.
So thank you guys.
Robert, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So, one thing we want to make sure that we're making really clear is as we look across the broad range of Microsoft tools for how people are doing work in teams, there is a tool for everything under the sun. So, there's a mission for Outlook, which is email and calendar. And SharePoint is very much that centerpiece of how I go and I can find intranets and manage content. It's a great place for your organization to go and find data and applications and content that they need to work on across their teams. One of the places where we really unlock digital transformation is with being able to do things in a new way. I did an interview earlier this summer with an organization, and they asked me what's the biggest, what is digital transformation and what's the biggest risk? The biggest risk in digital transformation is a failure of imagination. As we said at the keynote this morning, at its core, it's about giving you new tools to do the same things in new ways, because that's the on-ramp to changing the way the entire organization gets work done. We think of that kind of in two major avenues. One is the basic tooling, how information gets stored and gathered, how you can automate common activities, and how I can extend that further into new interfaces and new screens. We think it's important that also there's two layers at which this runs. Fundamentally, there is a power user or information worker set of tools. Lists, Microsoft Flow, and PowerApps are excellent places for doing that, as well as a more sophisticated way of doing things for the professional developer, whether with Azure tools and things like CDS and Logic Apps and Xamarin, being able to create new transformative things that are built on top of it. But the bottom line is there needs to be a tool for everyone that's out there. Now, as we're looking forward, I want to make a couple of points clear. If you've been following our support patterns and practices, things that we've already announced, InfoPath and SharePoint Designer have been deprecated. There are going to be no new versions of SharePoint, of SharePoint Designer or InfoPath. But last year, when we released SharePoint 2016, we treated the support cycle as if we had. So we've extended our 5 years of primary, 5 years of extended support for InfoPath and SharePoint Designer forward till 2026 to work with SharePoint on premises. Access Web Apps has also been deprecated, but it has a much shorter timeline. Access Web Apps in Office 365 is being removed from the service next year in late April, approximately. When we think about digital transformation and all of the great tools that my colleagues in Office and our colleagues in Azure have been able to build, and that we're hopefully sharing with you in a positive way this week, it isn't also just about being able to think of new things and doing things in new ways, but it's also a great opportunity to go back and look at some of those heritage applications with an opportunity to modernize them as we have looking forward.
So before we end, I wanted to kind of call out some of the things that we saw today and kind of have a one-slide view of when things are landing. The things that you can go try today are predictive indexing for up to 20,000 items in your libraries. Go try that today. Attachments in Flow rolled out earlier this month, in the month of September. And now you can attach files to your lists using Flow. We also rolled out better flow triggers and actions for document libraries throughout the months of July as well as September. So that's already out there. Go use it. Give us feedback in the forums. We're really, really eager to see adoption there and to get feedback from you and respond to your feedback in how we organize our backlog and add new features and capabilities. What's coming soon, within a month or so, is going to be the custom forms with PowerApps. That's going to come to first release customers, hopefully very soon. Support for multi-value columns in PowerApps. It will be read-only in Flow when it first comes to PowerApps. Read-write for PowerApps, read-only for Flow. We're also very happy to announce that Flow is going to be appearing in your OneDrive, so you will be able to create flows that are attached to your OneDrive from the OneDrive user interface. The Flow launch panel that you saw that allowed us to send those reminders or create any other customized data input scenarios is going to be available as well within a month or so. And the column formatter that we opened the slide with that will allow you to use declarative syntax to add conditional formatting to your list is also going to be available. So as you can see, October is going to be a very, very busy month, and there'll be many, many interesting things that are coming to first release very soon. So if you don't have first release users or first release tenants, please get your tenants there. Later this year, we'll be bringing you attachments in PowerApps, so you'll be able to take a file, attach it to a list item from your PowerApps custom forms. The PowerApps web part will be also joining our the little web part toolbox that you see in our modern SharePoint pages. We'll be bringing out to send for review out-of-box flows that you can start to use in your business processes. We'll be able to write to multi-value columns in Flow, and of course, last but not least, managed metadata support will be coming to PowerApps and Flow, multi-value and single value by end of this year.
So one bit of guidance we wanted to make sure was out there, because with all of the tools that are out there, obviously there's a perfect set of tools for each scenario, but you need to have a working frame to figure out what to do. And rather than ask what kind of data, we think it's really important to understand who you are and what skill set you bring to digital transformation. If you're not someone who has ever built macros before or built access databases when we were in the desktop era, you're just quickly trying to build something to catch data and put it somewhere, forms is probably your best bet. If you're somewhere in the middle, you have a history of doing those kinds of things with tools like Access and being able to build those really intricate Excel models, we think PowerApps on top of SharePoint lists augmented with Flow is going to be a really powerful and compelling solution for you. And if you have a strong development background, obviously there's a very rich arsenal of professional development tools that I cannot fit in this box, but things like PowerApps or Xamarin for mobile apps, being able to bring in technologies like the Common Data Service, SQL Azure. There's lots of really high-end repositories, obviously, if that is the skill set that you're coming to us with. So let's wrap up. We are through 2 days of Ignite, but there's still plenty more to come. The full session list, as we talked about this morning, is at aka.ms/SPIgnite sessions. I'll be back tomorrow morning with a deep dive on enterprise content management with my colleague Ian Story, and of course, most of us at Microsoft, as well as some essential members of our community, MVPs and partners, are going to be at the Expo floor throughout the week, here to help answer your questions if we can't cover it in sessions. We also have a very busy agenda coming up. SharePoint Unite, the European SharePoint Conference coming up in Dublin, and wrapping up next spring, as you mentioned, with the SharePoint Conference North America in Las Vegas. And we look forward to seeing you online or at one of those events coming up. That said, on behalf of myself, thank you, Karem.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you so much, NASCAR. We appreciate all of your support in helping bring this session forward and learning about what we've been able to do there. Thank you very much.